Before I call Ghazali Sahab, I would like to just invite you guys to an interfaith iftar dinner that American Muslim Voice Foundation would be hosting. It is in Palo Alto and 625 Hamilton Avenue. It is a church that hosts our event, and it is wonderful that they don't charge us a single penny. But it is just building relationships that we have been doing for the last 21 years. So please, if you could join us, see me, I can just, let you forward the email so you have all the information. I won't be saying too much about his book because I think enough has been said that, but I would like to make a couple of announcements. One is that 2 of his books are available on the table right there. If you buy both of them, they're only $20. And I would suggest that we should buy a few more copies extra. So give it to our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends who are not Muslim, so they understand what's happening to Muslim world, and if they can help us do anything about it. That's one thing. Secondly, everybody's done here. So these are the announcements you wanted me to make, right? Okay. I will introduce Mr. Ghazali now. I have known him for 23 years. Couple of things I'll tell you about him. Every time he addresses me, he always says, Samina Saba, you don't know. That's how he addresses me. So I always tell him that he always makes me think like I don't know anything. But it's among friends, so it's okay. All right, Mr. Abdus Sattar Ghazali received his master's degree in political science from Punjab University. He started his journalistic career working in a local paper in Peshawar, Pakistan. From 1969 to 1976, he served as a news editor in the Daily News, Kuwait. In December 1976, he joined the English news department of Kuwait Television as a news editor. He has also worked as a correspondent in Kuwait for the Associated Press of Pakistan, the Daily Dawn, Karachi, a leading Pakistani newspaper. He briefly worked as an editorial writer in the Daily Dawn, Karachi. He authored a total of, I will leave the number because different numbers have been presented, so I don't want to say any number, between 1996 to 2017. He also contributed chapters to the following topics: civil rights, to blessings of liberty, individual rights, published by Perfect Learning, Clive, Iowa, for the K-12 educational market. Number 2, at issues, how does religion influence politics? Published by Gale, Cengage Learning, Farmington Hill, Michigan. Why has the US image declined in the Muslim world? To US foreign policy towards the Muslim world. Focus on 9/11 period, published by University Press of America, Lanham, Maryland. He has written extensively on the issues of Middle East, South Asia, and American Muslims, which is published widely by the media in the Middle East, India, Pakistan, and the United States. Currently, he's working as freelance journalist, the executive editor of American Muslim Perspective. He serves as a senior advisor for the American Muslim Voice Foundation. Mr. Ghazali moved to United States in August 2000 and resides in Fremont, California. I believe I forgot to tell you who I am. I introduced everybody and forgot myself. My name is Samina Sundas, and I'm the founding director of American Muslim Voice Foundation. Would you please help me welcome Ghazali Saab?
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Well, first of all, I will thank you for attending the formal launching of my book, Muslim World in the New Global Order. I am grateful for all your support and your presence for this important day in my life. I particularly thank Mr. Tashie Zaheer, Dr. Abdul Jabbar, Professor Zakia, Asad, Dr. Habib Siddiqui, and Professor Arthur Scott for sparing some of their precious time to write a comment on my book. Today's event reminds me launching of my first book about Pakistan in 1996 in Kuwait, where I worked in print and electronic media for more than 3 decades. So, the book titled Islamic Pakistan, an Illusion and Reality was published in 1996 in Islamabad. At the same time, I published this book on internet. In those days, web publishing was not very common. I got many comments about the book from different parts of the world. This book is quoted in several international studies now. My latest book, Muslim World in the New Global Order, describes how world politics is changing dramatically and where the Muslim world now stands. The study is aimed at reviewing the Muslim world history of the last 200 years when it was victim of brutal colonialism and neo-colonialism. The machination of the Western colonialism during 19th and 20th century had the greatest impact of contemporary Muslim world. The book attempts to see the Muslim world in 2030 and 2050. It is difficult to foresee the future trajectory of the Muslim world in various fields. The chapter is based on the Western projections for 2030 and 2050, which presume that the current political and economic structure created by the West after the Second World War will prevail. Not surprisingly, for the Islamic world, economic and political forecasts are notoriously weak. You heard about the contents of the book, and I will draw your attention to chapter 9 of the book, which deals with the betrayal of Arabs of their Palestinian brothers and sisters. Ironically, it is more true today with the ongoing genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. As of writing this moment, around 29,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, including at least 12,000 children, while more than 70,000 Palestinians have been injured. What is the response of the Arab governments to Gaza genocide? It is best reflected in the failure of the Arab countries to hold a summit on Gaza genocide in November 2023. There was demand to cut off relations with Israel. Arab countries refused to do so, and even the summit agenda was not agreed. Rather, holding the summit, the Arab countries decided to cancel the summit. Not surprisingly, commenting on the cancellation of Arab Summit, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said, "I say to the Arab leaders, if you want to preserve your interests, you must do one thing, remain silent. Remain silent, and they are silent." Netanyahu was referring to the benefits Arab countries get from the United States for maintaining relations with Israel. For example, since 1978, when Egypt signed Camp David accords with Israel, the United States has provided Egypt with more than $50 billion in military and $30 billion in economic assistance, according to the State Department. These figures were published by Washington Post in September 2023. Gaza war has exposed Western hypocrisy on human rights, fair play, and justice. As author Lindsay German pointed out, the horrific scene from Gaza on a daily basis show enormity of what the Israeli government is doing. Our politicians still refuse to call for a ceasefire. She says it is worth contrasting Western government and media attitudes to this onslaught with another war in Ukraine that has been going on for 2 years now. When Russia invaded its neighbor in February 2022, the US, UK, and NATO powers condemned the action, imposed sanctions on Russia, and demanded immediate withdrawal. There has been no such condemnation of Israel. Indeed, its actions have been its actions have been condoned and justified by exactly those people. When Vladimir Putin was accused of kidnapping Ukrainian children and taking them to Russia, this was designated a war crime by Western government. Yes, the killing of around 12,000 children is not being treated as war crime by the same governments, who only make feeble calls for restraint and humanitarian path, while at the same time arming Israel, concludes Lindsay German. In short, all Western countries are supporting Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. It is alarming and sad that the Arab regimes are virtually silent on the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. Well, before I conclude, these are my concluding remarks. Before I conclude, I say that since around 6 chapters of my book are related to Turkey, so I have translated this book in Turkish language also. Here it is. And in our audience, we have 2 Turkish friends who are attending this event. So thank you very much.
In conclusion, I would like to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. I know Saturdays are very busy for everybody. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you, Chandni, for just serving us yummy lunch. Thank you so much.